Hello boys and girls, you have just caught us playing a game of whispers. Have you ever played that game before? You have to line your friends up in a row and you each take a turn to whisper in each other's ear a message that someone had from the very beginning. And you have to listen very carefully so that at the very end you might have the right message, but sometimes it doesn't work out so well. So Lucy has the message just now, don't you, Lucy?
I do! I have the message. Buttons the dog has just told me.
Well, shh, very good. But remember, you need to whisper it in my ear. Okay, are you ready?
Ready!
Are you sure you've heard that right? That doesn't sound like even a real word to me, or even a real few words to me. It doesn't even sound like a proper language. I don't understand what you've said.
It is! I heard it right. I listened carefully. Buttons, he told me, and Tiger, he told Buttons, and Dolphin, he told... Oh, well, maybe it's got a little bit muddled up along the way.
I think it must have done, because that didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So, in our Bible story, we have been reading about how God's message of love and forgiveness goes out to people. A bit like how a farmer scatters his seeds a long time ago, how they would do it before they had fancy machines and equipment. And now we're going to read a little bit about how for Christians who believe this message, we shouldn't hide it inside and be quiet about it, but we should share it with other people. So let's look at the story. Lucy, I wondered if today you might be the reader for us.
I'd love to! Right, we're talking about listening carefully, so make sure you do. This is from Luke chapter 8 verse 16, and let's take a look.
Okay, let's get our Bible ready to look at it. So, off you go, Lucy, when you're ready.
No one lights a lamp and hides it in a jar or puts it under a bed. Instead, he puts it on a stand so that those who come in can see the light. For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing kept secret that will not be made known or brought into the open. Therefore, consider carefully how you listen. I got mixed up.
It's okay, just take your time.
Whoever has will be given more. Whoever does not have, even what he thinks he has, will be taken from him. Now Jesus' mother and brothers came to see him, but they were not able to get near him because of the crowd. Sounds busy.
It does.
Someone told him, "Your mother and brothers are standing outside wanting to see you." And he said, "My mother and brothers are those who hear God's word and put it into practice." That's a lot of hard reading. I'm tired now.
Well done, Lucy. That was very, very good. You've been practicing your reading very well. So, let's have a look about this story. You know, if we have important news, it wouldn't be okay for us to keep it quiet like a whisper. That would be as silly as hiding a light underneath a bed, like in that story. The room would be completely dark still, and it wouldn't do its job of lighting up the room, and no one would be able to see. And also Jesus tells us to be careful how we listen. Sometimes we can hear things, but we don't really listen.
Oh, like sometimes when I used to hear my mum calling me for dinner. But I would keep playing. And if I had listened, I would have done what she said and gone for dinner and had a hot dinner instead of a cold dinner.
Well, that's right. You don't want to get very important news wrong either. That might make a muddle of things. Oh, Lucy's excited.
I have important news.
Okay, well, you tell us, what is your important news?
I was told that sweets are healthy and you should eat them at every meal. Yay!
I don't know where you heard that or what crazy person told you that.
What? It was you, Joanna. I heard you talking to Gavin about how the kids had enough vegetables and they should eat sweets with every meal.
Oh, Lucy, I never said that. You've heard me wrong. I said not. You've missed out the word not. I said that they had not had enough vegetables and they should not eat sweets for every meal.
Oh,
it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. She's all worried. It's okay.
Well, I got that muddled up. I got that wrong. That could have made them ill.
Well, that's true. It could have made them ill. Too many sweeties. And just like that, the Bible story we've been reading tells us to be careful how we listen so that we can learn the truth about Jesus ourselves, but also so that we can share only the truth about Jesus to other people so we don't get into a muddle. And Jesus tells us in that story that people who hear his words and do them, put them into practice, are part of his family. Even though we might not actually be related to him, we weren't born like his brother or sister, we can be part of his family. That's amazing. So I have a question, Lucy, though, something that makes me a bit confused sometimes. Well, I can hear you talking to me now and you can hear me talking to you. But how do we hear what Jesus has to say? How do we hear Jesus? How do we hear God? How do we listen? Let's listen. Shh. Can you hear anything?
Not really.
Well, I know, so how do we go about it? I have a little story, which is actually the very beginning of a special Bible book that my children have, that explains us how we can hear Jesus, how we can hear God. And God hasn't made it too tricky for us. He's actually given us all we need to be able to hear him. So I'm going to put you beside buttons just now, and I'd like you to listen with the boys and girls to this tiny little bit of the story before we finish up today. Okay? This book that we have is a really cool book for especially if you're in nursery age and if you're in the popcorns group. Okay, it's called the Jesus Storybook Bible. Now ours is a little bit tatty, as you can see. If you get one, it'll be nice and new. So it says near the very, very beginning, it says this. So listen up. God wrote, "I love you." He wrote it in the sky and on the earth and under the sea. He wrote his message everywhere because God created everything in his world to reflect him like a mirror, to show us what he is like, to help us to know him, to make our hearts sing. The way a kitten chases her tail, the way red poppies grow wild, the way a dolphin swims. And listen carefully. And God put it into words too, and wrote it in a book called the Bible. So that is why Christians talk about God's word being the Bible, or the Bible being God's word. He hasn't made it hard for us to hear him. We need to read our Bible. We need to hear his word, and then we need to do what it says. And Jesus says, when we do that, we are part of his family. So,
wow, that sounds lovely. I'd like to read some more of that book. Can we do that?
well, actually, boys and girls and Lucy, we've run out of time today, but I would love, and Lucy would love, for to visit you maybe a couple more times in the week. Maybe we should have a Wednesday or a Tuesday where we get together, and not just on a Sunday. So I will let your mums and dads know for when that will happen. We might have a story time, or we might get out our musical instruments and have a music time all together. So mums and dads, listen out. That's very old-fashioned. I'll give you a text to tell you a little bit more about that, and hopefully we can all join in together and spend some special time together, seeing as we can't see each other in real person. I miss you all very much in Sunday school. I miss my popcorns group especially, and I know that Lucy misses getting fed biscuits by all of you crazy little ones. So we hope to be together soon. But for now, this is great to have a me time. Now I'll stop waffling because I can't stop talking, as some people will know, and we'll go just now. Bye!
Bye, boys and girls.